learners, welcome to the another session of environmental impact assessment. In this, today we are going to discuss about noise impact analysis, noise prediction and also rating methods. So we have to recapitulate what we have learnt. So in the last session, we have learnt about economic impact assessment, which are a specific form of analysis techniques which calculate direct, that is a direct effects, that is a direct, that means to the operational characteristics of the firms or institutions that we have studying directly. And also we have learnt about indirect measures, that is the value of additional economic demands that the direct firms or institutions that place on supplying industries in the region. When firms conduct business or public entities that provide public goods, they must make many direct purchases from the suppliers in the area. And also we have learnt about induced benefits from projects when workers in the direct and indirect industries spend their earnings on goods and services in that region. So induced effects that can also be called as household effects. And total economic effects are the sum of the direct, indirect and induced effects. So they all are the transactions and which are attributable either directly or indirectly to the activities that we are measuring. So key to economic impact assessment is the consideration of the multiplier effects which are born out of these projects, especially relating to employment and expenditure. So economic impact assessment assumes that the employment will increase as an outcome of a project without any wage or price effects. With this recapitulation, dear learner, today we are going to discuss about noise impact analysis, predicting and rating methods. We all know that noise is defined as unwanted sound, but the definition is very subjective because the fact that one person's sound may be another man's noise. In simple words, I would like to put forward that wrong sound in the wrong place at the wrong time. So physically there is no distinction between sound and noise. Sound is a sensory perception that is evoked by physiological process in the auditory brain. The complex pattern of sound waves is perceptually classified as gestalts and also termed as noise, music, speech, like that. So the sound pressure level is a measure of the air vibrations that make up sound. So that sound pressure level, that means there is a pressure associated with the sound. That indicates how much greater the measured sound is than this threshold of hearing, because the human ear can detect a wide range of sound pressure levels 10 to 102 pascals. So they are measured on a logarithmic scale with units of decibels. We can symbolize that dB. So the sound pressure levels of most noise definitely vary with time. So the consequence is, in calculating some measures of noise, the instantaneous pressure of fluctuations must be integrated over some time interval. Meteorological and ground effects are particularly important when predicting noise over long distances. In such conditions, consideration should be given to whether the appropriate prediction is for typical or we can say that acoustically neutral meteorological conditions, long-term averages or specific case. So formulae for the effects on noise levels of such propagation can be found in standard text which are already documented. To approximate the integration time of our hearing system, sound pressure meters have a standard fast response time which corresponds to a time constant, that is 0.125 seconds. So all measurements of sound pressure levels and their variation over time should be made using the fast response time to provide sound pressure measurements more representative of human hearing. So sound pressure meters, they may have some slow response time with a time constant of 1 second also, but its sole purpose is that one can more easily estimate the average value of rapidly fluctuating levels. Acoustic energy transmission, which is involved in this through a medium via a sound wave, is known as propagation of sound. We can say that sound is basically a sequence of pressure waves that propagates through compressible media like solid, water, or simple we can say that air. So in between two persons, one is communicating, the other is able to hear through the medium of air. So when sound propagates, medium refracts, attenuates or reflects the waves passing through them. So when medium is air, for example, transmission of sound from its source to the surrounding is done by pressure variations. So the unit of frequency is hertz, and it is also known as the number of vibrations per second of the air in which the sound is propagating. For tonal sounds, frequency is associated with the perception of pitch. For example, orchestra. Musicians, they will play orchestra. They will frequently tune the frequency of 440 Hertz. Most environmental sounds are made up of a complex mixture of many different frequencies. Sometimes they may or sometimes they may not have discrete frequency components which are superimposed on noise with a broad 22 frequency spectrum, that is a sound with a broad range of frequencies. So the audible frequency range is normally considered to range from 20 to 20,000 Hertz. Below 20 Hertz, we hear individual sound pulses rather than recognizable tones. So hearing sensitivity to higher frequencies definitely decreases with age and exposure to noise. So 20,000 Hertz represents an upper limit of audibility for younger listeners with unimpaired hearing. So our hearing systems are not equally sensitive to all sound frequencies, which has been given by the ISO in 1987A. So not all frequencies are perceived as being equally loud at the same sound pressure level, and when calculating overall environmental noise ratings, it is definitely necessary to consider sounds at some frequencies as more important than those of the other frequencies. So detailed frequency analysis are commonly performed with standard sets of octaves or otherwise 1/3 octave bandwidth filters. An alternative mechanism is also there, that is a fast Fourier transform technique or other types of filters that can be used to determine the relative strengths of various frequency components that makes a particular environmental noise. So decibel is the unit for the measuring sound. So sound to the human ear is related to the decibel scale, and also the threshold is also associated with the human hearing, that is between 0 decibels and 130 decibels. So noise creates a physical pain on reaching the top of scale. So the factors affecting propagation of sound are geometric spreading and also surface effects. So when the wave front expands and sound energy spreads, so that means this spreading of energy is known as the geometric spreading. So geometric spreading affects all situations of sound propagation, and also it is an independent of frequency. So now we will look into the noise scale and rating methods. Ideally, to be of a practical use, I can say that any method of description, measurement and assessment of environmental noise should be related to what is known about human beings and also other sensitive receptors which responds to noise. Many adverse consequences of environmental noise that increase with increasing noise levels, but the precise exposure and response relationships that are involved continue to be the subject of scientific research. In addition to that, it is important that all methods which are used should be practical within the social, economic and political climate in which they are existing. Now we have to understand what is meant by the noise rating. There are 4 rating methods were used by the Comair-Rotron, that is a company established in 1947 in Woodstock, New York by James, for the description of levels of noise, that is the PSIL. that stands for Preferred Speech Interference Level, and it is the first rating system used. So the PSIL is determined at the center of frequencies of 500, 1000 and also 2000 Hz with arithmetic average of the sound pressure level in the 3 octave bands. So the effects of noise on spoken communication that can be rated using the PSLI. And then dBA is also used. That means dBA is the A element weighted sound pressure level and also the second system for rating. It is used to determine in the fulfillment with regulations like Occupational Safety and Health Act by the governmental agencies. So high and low frequency portions of audible spectrum that can be de-emphasized by a sound level meter which is equipped by a filtering system and can directly determine dBA. At a distance of 3 feet from the source, this measurement can be recorded. And the third system is NPEL. So there is a weighted sound power level reference to 1 picowatt and also expressed in bells. So it can be abbreviated as noise power emission level, which is adopted as a preferred unit of measurement by the Institute of Noise Control of Engineering. And the INCE, that is Institution of Noise Control Engineering, it recommended practice for measurement of noise that is emitted by air moving devices for computer and also business equipment. This is a guideline for the illustrations and management of noise that is emitted by the components. In INCE, the practical application procedures which are also included in the ANSIS 12.11. So it is the most recent and technically thorough acoustic procedures which is available. And also some other scientists, that are Comer and Retron, does all acoustical testing as per INCE and ANSIS 12.11 in 1987. And next one is the frequently suspended. So that means this is the fourth system of rating. So according to this method, the middle of calibrated reverberate room that has been suspended having a suspended fan with springs. So this fans runs at a distance of 1 meter with nominal voltage and free delivery. So the sound pressure level, that is a dBA, which is recorded. For the measurement of noise, transportation agencies have different standards. For instance, the day-night sound level standard is used for the Federal Aviation Administration, that measuring in decibels, that means that 3 decibel increase is equivalent to a doubling of the sound energy, and 10 dB increases a tenfold increase in the energy. For broadband sounds which are very similar in all but magnitude a change or differences in noise levels of 1 dB is just perceptible under the laboratory conditions. So the 3 dB is perceptible under the most normal conditions, and a 10 dB is increase generally appears to be twice as loud. So these broad principles may not apply where the change in noise level is due to the introduction of a noise with different frequency and also temporal characterizations which compare to the sounds that makes up the existing noise elements. And next we will go through the instrumental methods of noise analysis. There are acoustic instruments are using, that means they are octave band analyzers or sound level meters, noise average meters or noise dose meters, recorders, that means magnetic tape, cassettes and pen, and also noise survey urban night time, a calm room and the buzzing sound of refrigerator, normal conversation at a distance of 1 meter, and quiet office and the low voice sound interferes with conversation and also hair dryer noise. And faded noise meter, acoustic calibrator, sound scope meter and statistical analysis, they are also used to quantify and classify the physical properties of sound on the basis of physical parameters like duration and amplitude. So in some level meters, A, B and C are the different weighting networks have to be adopted. Scales, that means other than A, which are rarely used as they do not provide a good opportunity or the good approximation to the human car frequency response. For the measurement and analysis of steady noise, the cheapest and simplest instrument is the noise survey meter. This combination of octave band analyzer and sound level meter that results into the sound scope meter. So the intermittent noise is measured by noise integrator giving an average or intermittent noise level when used in combination with a noise survey meter. So noise dose meter is used to automatically integrate the sound energy that is received with respect to the duration and intensity. If we will consider noise impact prediction, sound quality assessment like echo or reverberation or speech intelligibility and determination of acoustic construction requirements that can be done using the computational noise modeling. So a variety of acoustic software packages like CADNA, A and ENM for environmental and source noise prediction, and INM, that is the aircraft noise modeling they will be using, and also Odeon for the internal noise modeling of sound quality, speech intelligibility and also noise breakout. Dear learners, with this explanation I would like to conclude this session by so far we session by these many points, like generally some measurement should be undertaken unless there is a reason to believe that the existing levels will definitely change significantly before construction or completion. So even where significant changes are expected, measurement that is coupled with extrapolation should be considered as an appropriate method. However, in some cases it may be necessary or preferable to calculate the baseline noise levels rather than measuring them. So the prediction of noise for impact assessment that requires consideration of both the way sound travels from source to receptor and also analysis of the changing character of the noise during the various phases of the scheme to be assessed. So different predictions and prediction methods may be necessary during site preparation, construction, operation and also decommissioning. For example, when planning for surface mineral working or waste disposal sites, consideration is required to be given to site preparation and fixed plant noise, mobile plant noise or site restoration and vehicle movements. So the basic prediction procedure that involves consideration of the nature and also noise levels of the sources, that propagation along the paths between sources and receptors and also the location of the receptors. I think, learner, you must have enjoyed this session. In the next session, we will come up with the other analysis of the environmental impact analysis. Thank you.